You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing peace over chaos. When your energy shifts, when your priorities change, when your soul starts craving silence instead of validation, darling, that's not arrogance, that's healing. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can ever do is cut them off silently. Because real strength isn't loud. It doesn't announce, it doesn't argue, it doesn't beg to be understood. It simply detaches, gracefully, quietly, and lets distance speak louder than words ever could. There comes a time in every strong woman's life when she realizes, not everyone deserves a seat at her table. Not everyone clapping for her is happy for her. And not every apology is honest. You see, silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. The loudest revenge is peace. Because when you stop reacting, you stop giving people power over your emotions. You spent too long explaining yourself to people who never wanted to understand. You fought for relationships that were already over, friendships that were secretly competing with you, and connections that only drained your energy. Now it's time to cut them off. Not with anger, not with drama, but with quiet power. Because when you stop chasing, when you stop proving, when you stop trying to make broken people love you right, you win. Silence is self-respect. And once you truly understand that, you stop explaining your every move to people who are never really listening. You stop begging to be understood because you realize that peace is more valuable than proving a point. Think about it. How many times have you lowered your voice just to be accepted, or made yourself small just to fit into places that didn't value your presence? You explain, you justify, you try to make them see your side, but they don't want understanding, they want control. And one day, you just wake up and decide, no more. When you choose silence, you're not running away, you're rising above. You're saying, I don't need to participate in every argument that challenges my peace. Because not every noise deserves a reaction, and not every person deserves access to your energy. The most powerful thing about silence is that it doesn't need validation, it doesn't need to prove its power. It's simply ayissa. In your everyday life, you'll meet people who test this. A friend who constantly drains you with their negativity, yet acts offended when you set boundaries. A co-worker who always takes credit for your work but smiles in your face. A partner who manipulates your emotions, making you feel guilty for expecting respect. In each of these moments, silence becomes your armor. You don't need to argue with someone committed to misunderstanding you. You just need to step back. Let your absence speak where your words couldn't. There's a kind of grace in not reacting. Imagine this. You're in the middle of an argument, and the other person is shouting, throwing blame, trying to provoke a reaction. But instead of matching their chaos, you take a deep breath, smile softly, and walk away. That's not weakness. That's control. That's strength disguised as calm. Because the loudest person in the room isn't always the strongest. Sometimes, it's the one who can stand still and say nothing at all. Silence is self-respect because it tells the world, Bemi, peace matters. It's what keeps you from chasing closure from people who broke you. It's what protects you from replying to every insult or defending yourself against every lie. You realize that your energy is currency and you can't afford to spend it everywhere. So instead of reacting, you redirect it into your goals, your healing, your glow up. There's power in not responding to every message, every provocation, every rumor, because when you stop showing up to battles that don't deserve you, you start winning wars within yourself. People will notice your silence. They'll wonder why you stopped explaining, why you stopped showing up, why you're so calm. Let them. Your silence will become the conversation. You'll see it in relationships too. There comes a point where you realize that no matter how many times you explain your feelings, the wrong person will never truly hear you. So instead of repeating yourself, you choose peace. You stop fighting for someone to stay, and you start creating space for someone who deserves you. Silence doesn't mean you stopped caring. It means you started caring about yourself. Even in friendships, there will be people who only show up when they need you, who disappear when you're down, who secretly compete instead of celebrate. The moment you stop calling, stop chasing, stop proving your loyalty, you'll see who was really there for you. Your silence will separate the real from the fake without saying a single word. At work, Silence is power too. When someone tries to provoke you, when office politics test your patience, when gossip surrounds your name, learn to rise above it. Don't defend yourself to people who build their confidence by tearing others down. Let your work, your results, and your discipline speak instead. Because success makes more noise than any argument ever could. In love, silence is your closure. You don't need to tell someone how much they hurt you. They already know. They just didn't care enough to change. So instead of begging them to understand, you stop talking. You stop explaining. You stop showing up for someone who never showed up for you. Your silence becomes your goodbye. Quiet, elegant, final. And here's the beauty. When you walk away in silence, people start noticing what your noise used to hide. They'll replay your absence like a song they didn't appreciate until it stopped playing. They'll remember your words, your care, your presence. But by then, your silence has already built walls they can't climb. You see, silence doesn't need to announce that it's powerful. It just is. It demands respect without speaking. It commands attention without begging. It heals wounds that words could never touch. It's the ultimate form of emotional intelligence, to know when to speak and when to simply walk away. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, the one who stays calm, grounded, and silent wins. Because while they're wasting energy explaining, you're building. While they're proving points, you're progressing. While they're shouting, you're shining. So, the next time someone disrespects you, betrays you, or underestimates you, don't fight to prove them wrong. Don't explain your side 100 times. Just smile. Stay quiet. Let your peace, your distance, and your transformation do the talking. Because silence isn't the absence of words. It's the presence of power. Peace is louder than words. And if you truly understand that, you'll never waste your energy trying to convince someone of your worth again. Because real peace doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't scream for attention or beg for validation. It simply radiates from within you, and the world can feel it without you saying a single thing. There's a rare kind of power in being calm in a world that's constantly trying to trigger you. That calmness isn't weakness, it's maturity, it's growth. It's knowing that not everything deserves your reaction. Think about it. How many times have you argued with someone who twisted your words? You shouted, cried, explained, and still they didn't get it. Because some people don't listen to understand, they listen to respond. You end up drained, angry, and exhausted, realizing your peace was the price you paid for being heard. But when you stop explaining, when you choose peace instead of chaos, suddenly you feel lighter. The silence may feel strange at first, but soon it feels like freedom. Peace is louder than words because it says everything without saying anything. When you stop replying to disrespect, you tell the world, I value myself too much to engage. When you stop explaining your choices to those who judge you, you say, my life doesn't need your approval. When you walk away from an argument that doesn't serve you, you declare, I've mastered myself. That's power, not in how loud you can be, but in how unbothered you can stay. Picture this. You're in a relationship where every disagreement turns into a war. No matter how calmly you explain your feelings, the other person finds a way to twist it, to make you the villain. One day you decide not to fight back. You listen, you nod, and then you quietly say, I need peace. You walk away. They'll get confused at first, maybe even try to provoke you. But your peace will start haunting them, because your calm is no longer something they can control. You took your power back silently. Even at work, peace speaks volumes. When your colleague tries to pull you into gossip, you stay focused. When someone takes credit for your ideas, instead of arguing, you let time and performance reveal the truth. You don't waste your words defending your value. You let your consistency prove it. Peace is not passive, it's patient. It trusts that truth will reveal itself without your voice having to shout. In friendships, peace teaches you to walk away without bitterness. When you realize you're always the one checking in, always the one showing up, always the one caring more, you stop. You no longer explain why you're distant. You just let silence fill the space. Because peace doesn't chase explanations, it creates boundaries. Real friends will understand. The rest will disappear. And that's the beauty of it. Your peace does the filtering. In family too, peace can be louder than any argument. There are moments when you realize that explaining your dreams, your choices, your lifestyle to people who never tried to understand you is just noise. They'll keep talking, you'll keep growing. You learn that love doesn't always mean constant conversation. Sometimes love means stepping back, letting go, and protecting your mental space. Because peace at home starts with peace within. Even on social media, peace is power. When people throw hate, judge, or criticize your every move, silence becomes your statement. You don't need to reply to every comment. You don't need to justify your success or your silence. The world is loud, but peace stands out because it's rare. When you don't engage with negativity, people start noticing the grace in your stillness. They start realizing your calm isn't ignorance. It's discipline. Peace also transforms heartbreak. When someone leaves you, betrays you, or hurts you deeply, your first instinct might be to speak your pain. You want them to know what they did, how much they broke you. But eventually, you realize that silence brings more closure than confrontation. Because peace whispers what anger never could. That you don't need revenge to heal, you just need distance. You stop checking their profile, stop overthinking what went wrong, stop rehearsing words you'll never say. You heal quietly, and in that stillness, you find your strength again. Imagine the moment they finally notice. The one who hurt you starts to see you laughing again, glowing again, moving on without bitterness. That's when peace becomes the loudest sound in the room. Because your happiness without them will always echo louder than your pain with them. You didn't have to post a message, you didn't have to make a speech. Your peace spoke everything they needed to hear. There's a saying that when water is calm, it reflects clearly. The same goes for your life. When your mind is calm, your path becomes clear. When you're peaceful, your decisions get sharper, your emotions get lighter, your vision gets stronger. You no longer rush to fix everything or everyone. You let things unfold naturally. You begin to trust timing, trusting that what's meant for you won't need to be forced. You'll notice this even in your daily interactions. When someone cuts you off in traffic and you don't react, that's peace. When your coworker takes credit and you still show up with grace, that's peace. When someone tries to trigger you with gossip and you respond with a smile, that's peace. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you raise your frequency. And slowly, your life starts to mirror that peace. You attract calmer people, healthier love, better opportunities. Because peace is magnetic, it draws what belongs to you. You no longer waste energy trying to fix chaos. Instead, you guard your calm like the treasure it is. You realize that peace is not something you find. It's something you create with boundaries, with silence, with self-respect. So you keep walking in your calm, keep moving with quiet confidence. Because the truth is, peace doesn't compete, it doesn't perform, it doesn't need attention. It's soft, but it's mighty. It's invisible, but it changes everything. When you carry peace in your heart, you don't need to prove anything to anyone, because peace, my dear, is the loudest sound your soul will ever make. Energy doesn't lie. It speaks before words do. It reveals truth before actions can fake it, and it warns you before your heart gets broken. You can fake a smile, you can pretend to care, but energy never pretends. It's that silent vibration your soul feels when something is off. That quiet discomfort you can't explain but can't ignore either. Deep down, you always know when someone's intentions aren't pure. You just doubt yourself, because the world teaches you to trust words instead of energy. But the truth is, energy will always tell you what mouths hide. Think about how you feel when someone walks into the room. You can tell if they're genuine or fake without them saying a word. You feel warmth around certain people. Your heart relaxes, your body feels safe. And then there are others who drain you without even touching you. You leave their presence feeling tired, anxious, or small. That's energy talking. And the most powerful thing you'll ever do is learn to listen to it. In relationships, energy never lies. You can feel it when someone starts to pull away even before they admit it. The texts slow down, the laughter fades, the vibe changes. You ask what's wrong, and they say nothing. But your gut knows everything. Because energy doesn't lie. It whispers the truth through silence, through distance, through things unsaid. You can sense it when love turns into habit or when loyalty turns into convenience. And if you ignore those signs, you end up betraying yourself just to keep someone who's already gone emotionally. In friendships, energy speaks louder than words too. You know that friend who suddenly feels different? They used to celebrate you. Now they just stay quiet when you win. They used to laugh freely. Now there's tension in their compliments. You can feel the shift. Maybe they envy you, maybe they've changed, but you feel it. And no matter how hard they try to act normal, energy doesn't lie. You don't need proof, screenshots, or explanations. You just need to trust what your body feels when they walk into the room. That discomfort isn't paranoia, it's intuition. Even in family, energy tells the truth. Sometimes it's not the words that hurt, it's the tone behind them. You can feel when someone supports you genuinely and when they just want to control you. You can sense when you're being judged even through a smile. Family love is sacred, but not every family bond is healthy. You can love people from a distance and still protect your energy. That's not disrespect, that's self-respect. Energy never lies in the workplace either. Have you ever sat in a meeting and just felt tension? No one says it, but everyone feels it. You know when someone's pretending to be on your team but secretly undermines you? You sense it when a boss values your work or when they just use your effort to boost their own name. You don't always need confrontation. Sometimes awareness is enough. Because once you learn to read energy, you stop reacting to words and start responding to truth. You'll also notice this when you're pursuing your goals, when you're aligned with your purpose, your energy feels alive, time flows easily, ideas come naturally, and even your failures teach you something valuable. But when you're forcing something that's not meant for you, whether it's a job, a dream, or a relationship, your energy feels heavy. You wake up tired, you start questioning yourself, and everything feels like a fight. That's your energy telling you this isn't your path anymore. You can't fake alignment. Your soul knows where it belongs. In love, energy reveals everything words hide. You can tell when someone loves you through their presence, the way they listen, the way they remember the little things, the way they show up without being asked. And you can also tell when someone's energy changes. Their hug doesn't feel the same. Their touch loses warmth. Their eyes stop glowing when they see you. They might still say, I love you, but the energy behind those words is empty. Energy never lies. It tells you when it's time to stop holding on and start letting go. Even in your own life, your energy reflects your inner world. When you're at peace, your presence feels like home to others. When you're broken, no matter how much you smile, your eyes give it away. That's why it's so important to protect your energy, to recharge, to rest, to stay grounded. Because the world doesn't just see your face, it feels your vibration. You can wear the best outfit, have the best words, but if your energy is bitter or heavy, it shows. Your aura tells your story before your voice does. There's a moment when you stop questioning what you feel and start trusting it. That's when life changes. You no longer explain your boundaries, you just keep your distance. You no longer beg people to stay. You allow energy to reveal who's meant to. You stop forcing conversations that drain you. You protect your silence. That's emotional intelligence at its highest form, not reacting to words, but responding to energy. Every time you walk into a room, remember, you're carrying an energy that introduces you before you even speak. The way you move, the calmness in your tone, the peace in your eyes. It all radiates energy. That's why you can't fake confidence, you can't fake kindness, you can't fake love. People might forget what you said, but they'll never forget how your energy made them feel. When someone's presence brings you anxiety, believe it. When something feels forced, don't push it. When your gut says no, trust it. Energy is the purest language of the soul. It never lies, it never misleads, it never hides. The more you honor it, the more you attract the people and places that match it. And once you reach that level of awareness, you stop chasing vibes that drain you and start creating the energy that defines you. Walk away with dignity, because there is nothing more powerful than a person who can leave silently without turning their pain into a performance. Dignity means you don't beg to be chosen, you don't chase explanations, and you don't compete for respect that should have been given freely. It's not pride, it's grace. It's the quiet decision to say, I deserve better without needing to prove it to anyone. Walking away with dignity doesn't mean you stopped caring. It means you finally cared enough for yourself. There comes a moment when you realize that staying just to prove a point is costing you your peace. Maybe it's in a relationship where you've been giving your best and receiving the bare minimum. You tried to talk, you tried to fix, you tried to compromise, but nothing changes. Every conversation feels like you're begging for basic respect. And then one day, you just stop. You don't argue, you don't cry, you don't slam the door. You simply leave calmly, silently, with dignity. Because you've learned that your silence is louder than your explanations. That's not giving up. That's growing up. In friendships, dignity means walking away from those who only show up when it benefits them. You know the type. They disappear when you're struggling, but suddenly remember you when they need help. You always give, they always take. And when you finally need support, they vanish. You don't fight to make them see your loyalty anymore. You stop calling, stop chasing, stop explaining your absence. You let your silence say, I see you. That's how you walk away with dignity, by not lowering yourself to match someone else's selfishness. At work, walking away with dignity can mean leaving a job that no longer respects your value. You may have worked tirelessly, shown up early, stayed late, but instead of appreciation, you get taken for granted. You start feeling invisible. The old you might have complained, fought, or begged for recognition, but the new you knows your worth. You hand in your resignation with grace, not bitterness. You thank them for the opportunity, even if they never thanked you for your effort. Because your dignity doesn't depend on their acknowledgement. It's something you carry within. In love, dignity is everything. It's the power to walk away from someone you love when they no longer love you back. The same way it hurts, it tears you apart, but you know that staying where you're no longer respected will break you more than leaving ever could. Dignity is when you stop texting, stop checking their social media, stop trying to remind them of what you were. It's when you let them feel your absence without anger or revenge. Because the truth is, the moment you walk away with dignity, your silence will echo in their soul louder than any fight ever could. They'll remember your calm more than your chaos. In arguments, dignity means refusing to fight ugly. It's easy to scream, to insult, to throw back pain when you've been hurt. But that's what small people do. They lose control to prove a point. Dignified people don't need that. They walk away from fights not because they're weak, but because they value their peace more than winning. When you respond to disrespect with silence, you're not surrendering. You're showing that you're beyond their level. You don't match their chaos. You let them drown in it while you rise above. Sometimes walking away with dignity also means forgiving people who never apologized. You're not forgiving them for their sake. You're forgiving them so they no longer have power over your emotions. Holding grudges keeps you tied to the same pain. But when you forgive silently and move on, you break that chain. You let go without bitterness. That's dignity. Releasing what hurt you without becoming like the ones who caused the hurt. Even in failure, dignity shines through. When life doesn't go your way, when people laugh at your setbacks or doubt your dreams, don't defend your vision. Keep building quietly. Let your results speak later. Dignity means not announcing your pain to gain sympathy, not broadcasting your struggles to gain validation. It's doing the inner work silently and letting your transformation surprise everyone who doubted you. People expect you to crumble, so when you rise with grace, you shake their entire perception of strength. In family, dignity often means setting boundaries that others call disrespect. You might be expected to always say yes, to tolerate things that break you because family is family. But dignity says, I can love you and still choose distance. It's not rebellion, it's self-respect. When you stop explaining why you're protecting your peace, you reclaim control over your own life. You no longer allow guilt to keep you where you're mistreated. You understand that being silent doesn't mean being submissive. It means being selective with your energy. Walking away with dignity also means not proving your worth to those who overlooked you. Maybe someone underestimated you, rejected you, or chose someone else over you. You don't beg to be seen anymore. You don't try to make them regret it. You simply let time reveal what they lost. Because revenge is temporary, but dignity lasts forever. The moment you walk away, you shift the power dynamic. They no longer control your emotions. You do. And that calm detachment, that's something money, beauty, or success can't buy. It's earned through pain, through self-awareness, through evolution. You can apply this everywhere, in love, in friendships, at work, even in your own thoughts. Walking away doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care about yourself enough to not beg for crumbs. It's not silence born of defeat. It's silence born of wisdom. It's the art of knowing when to stop talking, when to stop trying, when to stop fighting for something that no longer deserves your energy. The world teaches you to fight for everything, but sometimes walking away with dignity is the greatest fight you'll ever win. When you master that, your energy changes. You stop explaining your absence. You stop justifying your boundaries. You stop trying to fix people who enjoy breaking you. You simply withdraw, calmly, gracefully, confidently. And that silence carries more truth than any argument could ever hold. Because when you walk away with dignity, the world finally sees what you were trying to say all along, that your worth was never up for negotiation. There comes a moment when you realize silence, peace, and dignity aren't signs of weakness. They are the marks of evolution. You don't walk away because you're done caring. You walk away because you finally understand that your soul deserves better than constant noise. You don't stop responding because you lost your voice. You stop because you discovered that your energy speaks louder than any explanation ever could. And when you reach that point, darling, something changes inside you forever. You start glowing differently. You carry yourself differently. You stop apologizing for choosing yourself. You stop needing closure from people who were never mature enough to give it. You stop waiting for validation and start validating your own peace. Because true power doesn't come from being heard by the world. It comes from being understood by yourself. There's a certain beauty in being the one who walks away gracefully. The one who could destroy with words but chooses silence instead. The one who could expose, could retaliate, could scream, but simply smiles and moves on. That's not coldness, that's control, that's emotional strength at its highest level. You've learned that your peace is not a gift for everyone. You protect it like your crown, because not everyone deserves to touch what you've built through pain, patience, and growth. Remember this. Your silence is not empty, it's full of answers. Your distance is not avoidance, it's wisdom. And your calmness is not weakness, it's strength refined through experience. You become untouchable when you stop reacting to chaos and start mastering your own energy. People will notice your change. They'll whisper, they'll wonder, they'll ask what happened to the old you. But they'll never understand. The old you had to die for the peaceful you to be born. Every time you walk away with dignity, you remind the world that peace is not negotiable. You teach them that you can love someone deeply and still choose to leave if it means saving your soul. You show them that not every fight deserves your fire, not every insult deserves your reaction, and not every person deserves your explanation. You rise quietly, powerfully, gracefully, and the world feels your absence louder than your presence ever was. So when they test you, stay calm. When they provoke you, stay kind. When they ignore you, stay focused. When they betray you, stay silent. Because nothing shakes a person who has learned that peace is the ultimate revenge. You don't need to shout to prove your worth. Your evolution will speak for you. Let them talk. Let them gossip. Let them create stories. You just keep growing. You just keep glowing. You just keep walking, silently, confidently, fearlessly. Because your silence isn't weakness, it's the roar of a woman who finally knows her value. You don't chase anymore. You attract, you don't explain anymore. You embody, you don't beg anymore. You believe. That's the transformation. That's the victory. That's the glow up no one can imitate. When you master the art of walking away with dignity, you become unforgettable. Not because you made noise, but because you didn't need to. Not because you proved them wrong, but because you proved yourself right. Your silence becomes the echo that lingers long after you're gone. It reminds them what it feels like to lose someone rare. Someone calm, someone grounded, someone who loved with depth and walked away with grace. So hold your head high, even when your heart is heavy. Smile through the pain, because that's what real queens do. Speak less, feel more, move quietly, and let your peace announce your rebirth. Every step you take away from chaos is a step closer to your higher self. And when people ask you, why didn't you fight back? Why didn't you say anything? Just smile and say, because peace looks better on me. Because at the end of the day, real power isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the calmest soul in the storm. Real strength isn't about showing the world what broke you. It's about showing the world that nothing could. And real victory? It's not in proving others wrong. It's in proving to yourself that you are right to walk away. So walk away with dignity, with grace, with power. Walk away knowing that silence is your armor, peace is your weapon, and self-respect is your crown. Because the moment you choose those three, you stop being ordinary. You become legendary.